All right, so many of you, I really feel like since I've made 2 videos since speaking to Miss Lee, that I'm burying her videos and you guys won't see them. I really hope that is not the case. So I am going to start off this video by clicking the links to both of the videos about her.
Certain.
Let's see. Nope, that's not it. Perhaps this one. Absolutely, this is one of them. I believe this is the second one where I really need to go to the bathroom. That's how we ended the video, is me having to go potty. There we go. This one's about Terry Jepsen. She's a woman who used to live in town. When I first moved to town, there was a place called Sweden Cream. It's a restaurant. Well, kind of. I mean, you'd have to see it. Um, kind of like Dairy Queen, sort of, but not really. And my very first friend that I ever made in Chapel, Nebraska was Kimberly Jepsen, who worked there. That is Terry's daughter. Kim was my best friend for about 6 months or so. Me and her brother really started hanging out, and he became my best friend. He later wanted to become a police officer. He was my best friend for a good long while, but he wanted to continually make excuses for the actions of the police towards the homeless and disabled. This is years ago. I mean, this isn't something that's just been going on since Natalie died. I have been speaking out about the abuse since I was a child. And even in the modern day, where the things that I said, it has been proven that these things do happen and are happening and are still happening. And yet I still get treated like I'm a nut job for saying that they happen to me. Of course it happens to people, but it doesn't happen to people we know. Now, one of my harassers and predators since this was her other son, one of her other sons. See, she's got her oldest son is Mike Jepsen. Never had an issue with him. He's always been good to me. He's got cat eyes. Now, that'll make me sound schizophrenic, but if you've ever met him, yeah, he's got oval pupils instead of round ones. There's a name for it. He told me what it was once. I can't remember. That was over 20 years ago. Then the second oldest is Brandon, and then there's the twins, and that's Kim and Jason. Now, Jason, this guy's not a very nice guy. Okay, this is one of those guys who is on the level with actual psycho and possibly has bodies in his basement kind of guy. I mean, one of the first stories that I heard from him was from his sister Kim telling me that he had chased her around and was trying to cut her feet off with a garden hoe as a child. Her connection, a lot of y'all are like, oh, well, twins got this connection. Twins got this connection. And Kim told me, well, I don't have that connection with Jason. I hear I'm supposed to. I just don't. I have more of a connection with Brandon. Makes sense. Now, there's been a few situations in my life where complications with Kim really got out of control and it was not okay. One of those situations was when her boyfriend, at the time, of course, the son of a sheriff in Haxton, Colorado, which, if you know anything about the situation, Haxton is on my map of abusers. So she was dating a guy named Michael McBee, and he dragged her out of the vehicle by her hair. And those of you who have heard the conversations between me and Terry Jepsen have already heard that. there's probably nobody on my channel who has been watching for that long. It's a possibility. It's just not very likely. Now, being friends with Brandon's always like, my mom doesn't really like you. My mom didn't really like you. And I kind of got that feeling, sort of. But, it's Chapel, Nebraska. People are judgmental. And, I really didn't know her that well. Now, when I turned 18, I got dropped off with nothing in Chapel, Nebraska. Now, Kim and Jason were able to get permission from Ron and Terry. Ron is the father, of course, for me to stay in their garage. We manufactured a little loft up there and put my stuff up there, and I lived there for a few weeks. I was able to get a job with a lady named Kyle. I couldn't have gotten another job because I didn't have ID, I didn't have money, I didn't have a birth certificate, I didn't have a social security card. I had one shoe, a pair of socks, a pair of pants, and a shirt, and that's what I owned. Now, of course, years pass, and the whole situation with Natalie ends up happening, and well, I go everywhere I can to try to get help. Anyone who says that they're going to help me in person and they'll actually sit down with me and go in and talk to the cops with me. Anybody who says that they'll do that, I invest my money to go there. So there's a friend of mine from way back in the day. His name is Brett Roloff, and we called him Moose. He was homeless in Boulder, Colorado, and he was a pretty bad alcoholic back then. Well, he told me he really doesn't drink anymore, and it was fine if I came up, and so on and so forth. And I got there, and well, yeah, he's not drinking as much. He's fucking doing a whole shit ton of meth, and so's his girlfriend. And I didn't have anywhere else to go. I didn't have any money to leave. What could I do? I mean, at any point in time, the cops could have come and raided that place, and I'd have gotten in trouble just by association because I was there. And I called everybody that I could to try to get some money, get the hell out of there. I mean, I can't live with meth dealers. I can't. I mean, they weren't just using it. A meth habit is expensive. So you have to sell it in order to make enough money to use it. And I needed to get out of there. Brett Roloff and his girlfriend Amber were at each other's throats. They were mean and evil to each other. She was total stalker status on him. She paid for his phone, so she put the tracking thing on it. And anytime he went anywhere, she would literally sit there. If he's gone for 4 hours, she's there looking at her phone for 4 hours, tracking him wherever he goes and talking to me about, you think he's cheating on me? You think he's cheating on me? You think he's doing some without me? He was going to bring some back. How long do you think it's going to be? You know him. You've known him longer than I have. How long is it? And then they started using me as a tool to get at each other. Then there was a situation where the cops decided that instead of helping me, instead of listening to me, they wanted to take me to a hospital in a place called Abingdon, a few miles away from Bristol. They took me to Abingdon, dropped me off at the hospital, and I snuck out. Walked most of the way from there back to Brett Roloff's house. Thank goodness somebody did actually give me a ride. But yeah, that was a real scary situation. I need help stopping the abuse, but you won't help me stop the abuse because I now want my life to end because nobody wanted to do anything about the abuse. This country is fucking disgusting. Now, where does Terry Jepsen come into all this? Well, mind you, her son has gotten onto a few of these sites and been harassing and making all sorts of claims that, well, fuck him. He's a little bastard. Actually, literally, he's not. But the thing about little Jason, that's there was two Jepsen families here, and their last names are spelled differently, but phonically they are the same, obviously. Jepsen and Jepsen, Jeppson and Jepsen. So there's two Jasons in this town, or were at that point. There were two Jasons named Jason Jepsen. Now there's none. They both moved out. Um, Part of the reason for little Jason moving is he had a wife named Ashley. He had a daughter with her. He was strung out on meth. He had a meth rock about that big sitting on a shelf. He's got a rock collection, and among his rock collection is a big old chunk of meth, and he used to brag at me that it was there. He used to brag that Ashley walked by it every single day and didn't even know it was there. So she was pregnant with their second child, and he was shooting at her because he was fucking methed out of his goddamn gourd. He was trying to kill his pregnant wife. Holy hell. Now she's with one of my bullies from high school. His name is Dylan Bauer. Now, before you start hating him and judging him because he was a bully back in high school, he's one of only two of my bullies in high school who has ever apologized for what he did. When I lost my phone, it was full of evidence. He saw me by chance. He just happened to be driving through Sedgwick at the time that I was looking for my phone out there. And he had some stuff to do, but he offered to help me look for it for a few minutes. I told him, go take care of what you need to. I'll probably still be looking for it when you get back. If I find it, great. If I'm still looking for it when you come back through, I would love some help. So Dylan ended up really not being a piece of shit. I mean, he made my life hell in high school, but as an adult, he's a far more decent human being, and I'm thankful for that. So now that we've got a little bit of the family history in there, I'm stuck there. I don't have anywhere to go. I don't have any money. My friend at the time, Brandon Ratner, had paid for the ticket for me to get from that fucking shithole bus station in Los Angeles all the way to Brett Roloff's house because Brett was going to help me. And when I got there, it was obvious that was not going to happen. I still held hope and still hoped and still hoped and still tried. It eventually got to the point where I called up Terry. I said, Terry, I'm scared. I'm here. I'm stuck in a drug dealer's house. I have nowhere to go. They're volatile. They're mean to each other. This is going on most of the day. I need help. And she said she was going to try to buy me a bus ticket to get out of there. And she got back to me later and she said, well, Ron said no. I was going to, and I told Ron I was going to, and he said I wasn't allowed. Lots of people did that. They wanted to help, but somebody else told them they couldn't. Do I hate Ron for this? No, absolutely I don't. Maybe their finances were tight. I don't know. I'm not going to make excuses for them. I'm not going to speculate on that. It could have been anything. And I was eventually able to get out of there. Matter of fact, the police paid for my bus ticket. One time only, they said. And I used that bus ticket to go to see Jamie Curtis in Rapid City, South Dakota. Now let's get back to Terry. Terry's a nurse. When I started explaining stuff to her, she really did get a lot more than I thought she would. Where a lot of people wanted to argue, she actually listened and tried to understand. I never expected that out of her, ever. And, I really do love the woman. And a lot of y'all, whenever I say that, you assume that I'm going to stalk somebody because it means that I want them to touch my naughty. And no, that's not how I love. Matter of fact, that's not love at all. That's lust. Big difference. Love at first sight is literally just lust. Oh my God, I'm in love with her. She's so hot. You don't know anything about her personality. You don't know anything about her personal opinions, but she's pretty, so you're in love, right? No, that's lust, absolutely. I'm not interested in Terry that way. Now, her daughter Kim, I tried to make her the person who is in charge of my Facebook, but she just didn't get back to me. So I gave that to her mother, who I believe is still the one who has my legacy account, is what it's called. So if I die, I told her that she should destroy it. She said, well, I don't want to do that. I think that it's important for people to know. I think it's important for people to learn. And I agreed with her. So if I end up dead and she turns it into a legacy account, well, good. Now, obviously, we got one of those Russian fellers over here. You can tell by the type of alphabet they use. Let's see. I'd use her on this channel. It's not that Terry didn't want to help. It's that she did not want to cross her husband. And I've never known Ron to be violent, so I'm not trying to say cross in that way. But they're married. That is her husband. That is her life partner that she has chosen to spend the rest of her life with. And yeah, it's all right for them to make decisions together. It did hurt, still hurts that Ron told her not to, and that I was stuck there in that environment for a while longer than I should have. But I did eventually get out, and she did legit try. Now, a lot of the conversations that we've had, they verify what I've told you. Matter of fact, I'm going to see right here. Let's see your channel. All right. Well, that's not going to work. Let's see videos, and then sort by date added oldest. All right, the first one on here is called testing. That was when Miss Jerry was helping me to be able to get all this stuff established and done. Copy link address. This is actually the first one I'm going to post up just because it happens to be right there. This is with Officer Jordan Anderson when I was at my grandmother's funeral. And if you listen to conversations with me and Tara, you know a little bit about what happened in the whole funeral situation. Um, but let's see. This is when I first started it. This is when I first started recording my friends. It was in November of 2018, I believe. They had had plenty of time to speak up and tell the truth, but they didn't. They chose to allow people to continually abuse me because they didn't want to come forward. They didn't want to tell the truth. So I posted it on here. Their words, it's not me regurgitating what I heard them say or me making up what they said. It's their actual voices on here. Um, let's see. Christmas for Youth Alone. That's a good one to watch too. Alyssa 1228. Suicide Prevention, Justice for Natalie, Natalie and Sean 1, 2, and 3, A. Russell, Beardsley. The Beardsley families, it was pretty closely tied with the Jepsen family. Brandon Jepsen had just gotten back together with, this is Ben Beardsley here that I was talking with, but Brandon Jepsen had just gotten together with Brooke Beardsley when uh, she got into a car accident just a few days after having a baby, and her and the baby were ejected. She died, but the baby survived, and the baby's name is Casey. She's a grown adult now, and she is actually one of the missing people who I posted about on this channel. She's no longer missing, which is good. Let's see, Brandon, Brett Roloff, Brian Schwartz. Brian Schwartz was my dad. Christine, that's Christine Buhit. She's dead. There's another one here with Christopher Tapp, Darren O'Connor, David Nelson, Graham, Abear, Jeff Ritter, Cammie Jepsen. Here's one with Katie Cahill, Laura Nelson, Mandy Hughes, Missy Richards, Nicole Peralta, Miss Peaches, Brandon Ratner, Tabby and Graham, Terry Cutcall. I believe this is one of them. There's a few of them here. We'll post this one up first. And then we'll go to the next one. Terry J2, copy link address. We'll post it up here. This is a conversation with her. It's not me talking about what she said. It's not a conversation in texting. It's verbal. It's an actual phone call. And then let's see. Here's another one, copy link address. This is also with Terry Jepsen. I don't believe I recorded the phone calls when I was in Bristol, Virginia, because I don't think I had the availability. But had I certainly would have. I try to record everything. Here's a bunch more from Brandon and Abear and Mandy and Missy and more with Miss Cahill, Brenda Dickinson, Amanda Engeline. The second time I screamed at Shannon, this is a good one. I was having a mental breakdown, and Shannon saw that I was having a mental breakdown, and instead of dealing with it as a reasonable adult would, she wanted to be a fucking moron. And then just shortly after that was when I was in Hardin, Montana, and made that video about the missing women of Hardin, Montana. We got to do something, you know? We got to do better. We got to help the poor rather than condemn them for being poor. Ooh. All right. Copy link address. As far as Terry's story goes, that's about the full extent of it. So I'm going to try to spend the next 5 or 6 minutes. You know, there's more details I could add, but really, we don't need to make this a 4-hour video of every trivial little detail. The video links that I have posted already should show you that the things that I've said in this video, Terry actually, in her conversations with me, verifies these things. So there's that. Let's see. Here's one called Maddie Boa. Copy link address. This is actual footage of our screenshots of me scrolling through it so that you guys can see the situation. I probably should have put a spacer in there, so I'm going to type SRRY, enter, and then repost it. paste, so that you know it's already past the Terry Jepsen portion. Here's another one that says, mostly just prior to Natalie's death, my statement. Copy link address. We'll post it up here. Paste. And then this right here says, tiny selection of threats I have received and some key players. Right click, copy link address, put it up here, and we'll post it. Let's see. This one's called Just One Side of Hate. Copy link address. Paste. There you go. Here's another one of them Russian assholes spamming. I'd use her on this channel. Easy. If only I could do that with my other predators, the ones in real life. Let's see. And here's one from one of the people who was claiming she was friends with Natalie Bollinger. There's a lot. Like I said, I've been collecting actual evidence, not just ranting. Showing actual evidence, not just ranting. Now, a lot of times after I've posted a piece of evidence, it's on my channel. When I talk about it and people say, well, where's your evidence? It's on my channel. You can find it. You can go looking. It's not difficult. But I'm not going to make a brand new video for every newcomer to my channel so they can catch up. Because then we will never get caught up. Anyway, I do love Terry. I love Ron. I love Brandon. I love Kim. I even love Jason. Many of the things you want to pretend like I might do, little Jason Jepsen has actually done. Listen to the conversations with his mother.